So,
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
And welcome back to another episode of Deep Talk. So happy to be here, seeing you guys. I'm also really excited about our guest today. His name is Brima. Welcome, Brima.
thank you, thank you. Happy to be here.
Brima is a rapper, a producer, a videographer, a community worker. He's a man of many things. Like actually most of us are in our hearts, but actually Brima lives those multiple parts of himself in the world. Brima, would you like to do a
Yes.
better job of introducing yourself?
I can't top that. I can't top that. Yeah, but as you said, I'm all those things and more, which some have not yet discovered as well. I'm still in that journey.
That's good. Yeah, all of
Yeah.
us, for all of
Yeah.
us too. So maybe you could just tell me a little bit about yourself. How would you describe yourself? It's not an easy question actually, but how would you describe yourself?
Um, I I would go deeper into saying I'm a sentient being, but that's
Okay.
too deep.
There's no such
So
thing.
to
There's no
keep
such thing
it
as
then-
two.
The normal what do they call it?
Go with what you wish to, how you wish to describe yourself. How do you see yourself?
Yeah, I see myself as a sentient being here on a journey or a mission or a purpose, more of a spiritual being in a physical body. But then what I do with this vehicle that I have, I rap. I try to communicate some ideas through rap, through videos. I also do executive production, putting together music projects so far, and some movies, trying to get into that. So yeah, I'm a artistic kind of person. That's how I try to express my energy. Yeah.
Beautiful. I think you've actually answered one of my other questions.
You can ask it still.
Well, I don't think there's a point because my other question is if you take away all your relationships and what you do in the world, your identity, your gender, all of those societal identities, who are you?
Oh,
And you already answered that. You're a sentient being on a journey.
yeah.
How's the journey going?
It's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've really been through a lot, and each experience it raises your vibration because you learn from it, and it's really fantastic. And there's that sense of getting closer to even better and better. Not systematic. Not that I've probably you're better at the systematic raising your vibration stuff, but it's been amazing in the sense that discovering new things and like even meeting new people, those are new energies, and it's been amazing. Yeah.
That's so nice. That's a beautiful way to see it. Have you found the journey challenging?
Yeah, it has to. It has to be. It's the pendulum effect. It has to be challenging to be amazing. So, a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was just thinking about how would I describe my journey as fantastic? No, I would describe it as intense.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because to me, fantastic means just one, like fun and beautiful and amazing, which it is also,
Yeah.
but it's also got.
That's why
Other aspects.
roller coaster is fun because it
I
goes
guess
up
so.
and down.
I guess so. So for me, you can just clearly
Yeah.
see that I have a wound about the
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 downs.
challenge. The challenge, yeah. The downs are probably more fun than the ups, Like going downhill is probably more fun than going up, but
Yeah. More thrilling and exasperating.
exhilarating, yeah. And the other one is exasperating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me, Brima, what are 3 things that you're chasing in this journey?
They change, but I
But
would
for now.
say, yeah, I would say peace, love, and I almost said unity, but that would be so obvious. So let me think
But what's
about
the
it
truth?
back.
What's the truth?
Yeah,
It doesn't
truth,
matter if it's
truth,
obvious.
Yeah, truth, peace, and love.
Oh,
yeah.
truth. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
You
I
gave
mean,
me the answer.
I
there.
gave you the
Linkage,
answer by
yeah.
accident.
We call it More Kenya.
Yeah,
You know
truth.
about More Kenya?
No,
Yeah.
tell me.
It's what people go to the exam room with, small written notes.
Oh,
Yeah, cheat sheet.
the cheat sheets.
Yeah, it's called More Kenya. It's so common in Kenya, so it's More Kenya.
Okay, I see. Well, I think it's common everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, Magoha is trying to stop it here. Anyway, yeah, so truth, peace, and love. I would say those three among many more.
Among many more. But those are the three main ones for you? Are those what really, really... What do you value the most? Which ones you value the most?
Okay, values now, they're different.
Mhm.
Values, there's that sense of community, which is relating to the peace and love. Then there is, of course, I value wealth. I would want to be super rich.
Really?
Abundance, that's a value I have. Then what other value? I guess I would value also health and well-being. Yeah.
And if we looked at qualities, so we
Yeah.
keep going on this theme.
Yeah.
You talked about qualities you're chasing.
Yeah.
Are those the qualities you value the most?
As I said, it keeps changing at different.
But right now you're
point.
focused on?
Like what I would say, love and healing and finding that peace. So that's
love, healing, and peace.
Yeah, you try to focus on that for a moment to heal those wounds and to clear your energy around those aspects. Then once it's clear, you of course move to another challenge.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
So how do you clear your energies? What's your practice for yourself?
I think generally prayer, meditation, fasting, talking, sharing, basically, like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Ideas also gel and you learn something new. Also music is a really powerful way I find for me.
What, listening or creating or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I very much agree with your modalities for sure. So you said you weren't systematically raising your vibration, but that's systematically raising your vibration.
Yeah, okay. System, the way I think of system is like in a linear fashion. Like you have a goal and you know that, okay, now I'm moving from grade 1 to grade 2. And these are the things I do in grade 1. These are the things in grade. So for me, it's like I go with the flow. Whatever I feel like right now it would work. So I'm not really sticking to.
You know, the truth is you can't really grade a person's energy.
Yeah.
You know, because it's so unique. And the path they're going to take as they ascend, as they raise their vibration is completely unique to them. So for me also, I don't feel like healing can be, this is what you have to do today and then this is what you have to do tomorrow. It's like, this is what your reality is showing you,
Yeah.
This is what things are coming out at you from the world and that are showing you certain parts of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you just have to take those as they come.
Yeah. I was reading a book by Joe Vitale. He talks about the difference between intention and inspiration. So when you have intention, you're planning with the knowledge you have and you're trying to be systematic based on your limited knowledge. But when you open yourself to inspiration, you are like, you let the universe or the higher being guide you. So
It's like breathing, right?
Yeah,
It comes from the word to inspire, to breathe in.
yes.
Yeah.
Nice way.
That's a really nice way to look at it too. Right. Well, what a beautiful introduction. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Thank you.
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
And we're back with the sentient being, Brima.
Thank you for having
I
me.
love introducing. That's the best way to introduce you. So, Brima, we were talking about healing earlier, and I wondered, like, what are you working on in yourself right now? What are the wounds, or as you call them, that you're really looking at within yourself right now?
For a long while, it has been about the indoctrination and how we've been raised to think and what to like, what to do. So it's really tough because it's 844 system. So all those years, if you add them up, you've been through a certain system, and you try to heal what it did to you, did numbers to you, but you don't know because it's normal to the world, and people are very proud when you're taking your graduation and chats and whatever certificates. But in essence, you've been I don't want to say brainwashed. you've been taught a certain way to live your life, and probably some things about what reality is have been downplayed, and I've been struggling with that and learning what really it is life means, and what it is to be a person, and even as I say sentient being, is like it gives you a different idea. I could come here and say I'm a business person, I'm an entrepreneur, but that immediately puts me in a box. So I'm trying to heal that.
You're trying to deprogram.
Yeah.
But the programming is it's so funny, because when I use that word deprogramming, a friend of mine, Kaya, comes up and she's calling like right now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But deprogramming is way beyond school,
Yeah.
Like it starts when you're little, very little.
Yeah, exactly.
The way you're treated, the way you are, either allowed to be, or you are regulated. So for example, like I think so, even when you're like nursing, for example, there's some people who regulate when they eat, and they program the child to eat at certain intervals, so that the child can, it's easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there's others who feed whenever the child wants, and that's another way. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but you can see the different already. It's starting, right?
Exactly.
But then if you think about all the things your parents, so for me, what's amazing, because I have a 2-year-old, you have a 2-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Like they're learning by watching us,
Yeah, a lot.
so that we're programming them without even programming them, because they're seeing us and they're like, okay, that's the behavior.
Yeah.
Like I threatened my son with a mwiko.
Yeah.
And now my son is like, Mommy, if you are naughty, I will hit you with a mwiko. And I'm like, please don't say that in public. Please. Like they are being programmed. Like this is what happens. This is the consequence, right?
Yeah.
And what is even being naughty? If you even deconstruct that, what is being naughty? It's doing something I don't want him to do.
Exactly.
Which is an externally imposed idea of.
And probably he or she learns from you because they're observing.
Yeah. So you can imagine how much programming just in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? And then you also think that your DNA carries information from your mother.
Yeah.
And from your father.
Wow.
Right? They were programmed. And that information is also in your DNA at some level. And their parent, and their ancestors, and their ancestors.
Yeah.
And then, if you think about the concept of past lives.
Whoa.
Okay? So, in a sense, like, as you said, you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Like, deprogramming is actually just the whole thing. It's the whole game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because once you deprogram, all that's left is going to be source.
Exactly.
Purity.
Yeah.
Right? So in some sense, maybe that's the whole thing. The whole game is, the healing is deprogramming.
Yeah, that's like on a high level.
Yeah.
Like, what you maybe, we'll talk about it later, but really high vibration, whereby now you've reached to the source energy, enlightenment, whatever. But what I'm talking about is just the basic.
The basic,
like,
the first level.
yeah, you're just trying to make sense that you're not in pain and the world doesn't make you suffer so much. You know, if you externalize and you look at the world around us, it's painful. If you look at the news, if you go to the streets, there's so many things you see, and it could hurt you, and you're like questioning like a lot of things that are around you and a lot of beliefs. But so if you try to heal from that and try to find meaning and make sense of it all, and so you go back and you come front and you try to really find your space in all that and what you could do about it, because end of it, it's you need to take action. Like, you need to live your life in a certain way that would make you and people around you and your environment better. So it's just that level. I'm not really.
But you know, the Buddha,
Yeah.
he became enlightened. Why? Because he was searching for the answer to suffering.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that what you're saying is a very basic thing.
Yeah.
Is actually it takes you it's going to take you there.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, it's not just what you're just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's actually that question is the question that the Buddha asked himself, why he left the palace.
Yeah.
You know, because he wanted to understand the reason for suffering and how to alleviate suffering.
Yeah. True.
And the answer he came to was, you release suffering when you no longer desire anything and you no longer dislike anything either, right? When you are completely in balance with everything. And the only way to attain that is enlightenment. So your quest is the quest.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you may be starting with just, you know, what you know about your schooling and reframing or relearning that, or unlearning, let's call it. They call it unlearning now, don't they? There's a whole thing.
Yeah.
There's like schools that literally teach you unlearning. Like unlearning societal programming.
Actually, not that something is really wrong with the school, but what we learn, but it's just that the level of importance to certain things and completely downplaying others. Like you asked me about values and things like that. Those are things which should be in the syllabus. People in school should learn about values, and especially when you're talking about trying to raise a community or a society or a nation, basically. People need to learn this at a very young age, but we are left to just
figure it out later.
And people are disjointed. So to maybe the quest is enlightenment, but really school could also be used as, if it's applied properly, it could be used to
there are some amazing school systems, but they're not very many here in Kenya. There are a couple, but very few, very limited. There's a school called the Waldorf.
Wow.
And it's founded by a guy called Rudolf Steiner. And they basically give importance. They don't teach you anything until you're about 7.
Wow.
You're just you're just allowed to play and to be creative.
Yeah.
And to use your body. And you learn emotions.
Wow.
You learn basically spirituality is one of the pillars. Another is creativity. Another, it's a different system. But there are a lot of alternative schools in the world because a lot of people are waking up to this.
Yeah.
If I look at my education, I feel like 80% of what I learned I don't use it.
Yeah.
I really don't use trigonometry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And also, I feel like I didn't learn a lot.
Yeah, when you look at the vast amount of knowledge and information.
I didn't learn interesting stuff. Like, I wish I'd been taught about pre-colonial Black Africa.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I wish I had been taught about Vedic teachings.
The Africa, the Kemet, the Dogon philosophy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things we're not really
even language like the Vedic you're talking about, Sanskrit. If
Yeah.
you just learn Sanskrit,
Sanskrit,
and
exactly, to be able to like now
to
decipher,
open your mind
to be able to go and decipher those texts. But Sanskrit was
Yeah.
not offered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, in the same way, maybe if you want to go, anyways, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really a realization that a lot of people are having. A lot of people with kids are having.
So your kid, which kind of education?
I mean, I'm definitely not. I'm going to send him hopefully to the Waldorf school for a while.
All right.
And then I would think about also later maybe some other more alternative schools. There's like the schools where it's called unlearning, where basically you homeschool them, but you don't teach them any curriculum. You allow the children to pursue whatever. Kids are always want to learn. There's no kid who doesn't want to, right? But they may want to learn through video rather than through written. And that's okay. And because each of us learn differently. Some of us are more visual, some of us are more auditory, right?
Yeah.
Some of us are more kinesthetic, playing. Like there's a school in Nairobi that's a forest school where kids like learn in the forest.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? So there's,
Yeah.
I would probably like give him like, I think I would do different experiences. Let him have different experiences.
That's awesome. You know, me, the way I see school is more about the way people say school of fish. Like, you know, school of fish is like a bunch of them together. So it's more about the connection and less about the syllabus. So you just put them together so that they can express their unique selves, you know, something like that.
I was watching this fantasy show, and you know, when we were and it was just showing how little children were treated with were given much more responsibility at a young age. I think in lower income communities that's still the case.
Yeah.
You know, they're given a lot more responsibility.
It's crazy.
But in the old traditional days, children were taught from a young age. Like if you're a fisherman, you are taught to fish from age 2, 3, because you go with your dad or you go with your mom. You're just always around it, right? So you're schooled from a very young age in something, you know? And you're schooled in multiple things, and you're learning by yourself. You know what I'm saying? In some ways, even though you're being taught without, it's a very, it's like I feel like we've also lost, because we put our kids into institutions.
Yeah.
At a young age, we've also lost that deeper teaching through our own doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
But there's still some legacy of that, but it's just an interesting thing, you know? Right, let's take a break. We'll be right back after this.
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
We're back with Brima. This is Deep Talk. Remember, you can subscribe to the channel Icon Radio KE on all handles: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And you can catch us live streaming www.iconradio.co.ke. So Brima, having said all of that, so you're letting go, what are you also stepping into as a result of that?
I would say the what you pursue is what you're stepping into. So the peace, the sense of peace, I'm stepping into that.
You're feeling that a lot more?
Yeah, a lot more. And the sense of love, the sense of community. It's you know, it's just where you focus your attention. You notice it more. It has always been there, but you really don't. You just basically, because of what you hear, you try and focus on the bad news and the bad, but there's all this abundance and everything. So I'm stepping into that more and just taking a few moments to think and meditate and be aware of that. So, and it gives you energy to even try to pursue more and more and journey on further. Yeah.
And what is abundance to you?
Abundance is basically the nature of the world, the way it's unlimited. Like, we know that we are told bundles are unlimited. We when you're told like internet unlimited for a month, you can use it for as much as you want. So abundant nature is like that. Nature is abundant. Even the most prized minerals and gems, they're there somewhere abundantly. It's just that the mining process is expensive, so they become extra price. But diamonds are abundant on earth, gold is abundant. But what we need for life, the most important is water, air. So when you think of abundance, think air, think water, think warmth, the sun. So if you think in terms of limitation, you're just thinking of maybe a battery of energy, like just a battery. And that's what we're taught by the world, like you need savings, you need to do this and that. That's, you're putting your energy in a battery. But there's abundance, which is the sun, which is solar power. It can last for millions of years. So if you can tap into that, that's abundance. Yeah.
And are you tapping into that?
I feel I am. Yeah, I think I am a lot. And the beauty of abundance is that it goes way beyond your physical realm. So it goes to your mind, and we say mind, body, and soul. So most of what we think of as being rich is in the body and the physical. So people less consider the mind and soul as wealth and richness. So there is a lot of abundance, and all these ancient practices, ancient knowledge, it gives you a lot of power, and it goes even beyond this life, current life. If you talk of reincarnation, or if you talk of past life, whichever way you put it, we know that this earth is not all we got. So I'm saying no, I didn't say believe. So there are people who believe, but some of us know that that's how it is. So when you know that, abundance means that you have providence for the entire way, like for the long run, like forever and ever and ever, So that's how I look at abundance. Yeah.
And as you pursue that, you're stepping in. I mean, as you do the work, the healing and so on, that's what you're seeing coming into your life.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that the way we are taught, it comes into your life by giving and letting go. As opposed to the way we're indoctrinated to accumulate and,
Do you want to give me a practical example?
For like very basic, like let's say you want like you want money, right? Like in life, you want a lot of money, and basically someone can, if you think in a limited sense, you just think of you're working towards earning for a living. So basically all your life in your mind is that if I don't work, I don't have money, and if I don't have money, I'm broke and I'm poor. But then this money, the way you apply it and the way it, because you're holding it, so you don't build sense of community, you don't build connection with your own family, not even the large society at large. Many people, they become rich even in their own family, like husband and wife, like used to be tight when we were poor, but when we got rich, everything start falling apart, because that you put value in the money instead. But when you put money in abundance, you give that money, you get that money, and you spend it it builds the ties and the relations and the values, they grow. And practically, if you have shared values, shared goals, shared resources, life becomes easier around you. Like you don't have to spend money for every other entire thing. For example, long ago, people would live together in communities. I know where you're from, it's probably still very prevalent, or where your ancestors are from. So you get the value of community immediately. Like you have a child, because you're investing in that community, you get the return on investment. Your child is raised by this community. All these things that current society needs to pay for is for free, is just there. Even, for example, communal land is just abundantly available. People graze their cows, they go to the water point, they fetch water, shared resource. But when you start now saying it's mine,
So how is that working in your life?
yeah, so in my life, it's basically, for example, the projects I'm working on, I focus on giving more than what I get. So if whatever you're doing, you're focusing on giving, like you're basically sharing your energy, your resources, your being, basically. So even there's a project we're doing now. Most people, when you involve them in a project, I call you, hi Neha, I have this project, blah blah blah. The first question is like,
What can I get
what's
from
the
it?
cut?
Yeah.
What's the cut? You're not looking at how will it help you grow, how will it help you. So that's how I do it. First, I put the values. Will it give me peace? Will it give me love? Will it give me, all these things? So that's how I apply it.
You know, that's a very deep thing to do, because if you think about it, you actually don't really have a lot. Well, I wonder if you really have control on what you receive. You see? So you only have control over what you do. You don't have control about what's going to happen as a result of what you do, right? Therefore, you don't really have control about what you're going to receive.
Yeah.
Correct? So, for example, like, you come onto the show, right? You only have control over what you say here, of what you want, how vulnerable you are here, how much you open here, how much you share here.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have control over if people like it or not.
Yeah.
You don't, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's interesting because
Hope they like it.
you hope, but the point is, you're not. Are you doing it for that? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right. So that's the focus on the receiving. That's the focus on the receiving. Like, oh, I'm here so that people can hear me. People, I want people to like know what I do. I want people to like buy my album or whatever, right? When you're focused on that, you're not able to be completely authentic.
Yeah.
Because you're hung up there. Your energy is hung up with that, with what's coming or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? But if you don't worry about the outcome, which is the receiving part, if you don't worry about that, and you're just like, okay, I'm here. This is an amazing experience. I want to enjoy myself. I want to understand more. I want to overstand more. I want to engage. I want to see what's created out of this conversation.
Yeah.
Then you're fully open. And when you're fully open, then energy can pour out of you like in the most powerful way, which ultimately will create the most powerful impact.
Yeah, ripple
and
effects.
therefore,
Yeah.
So in a sense, that's a very good, wise thing. But I was just seeing it I wrote it down because it's like I was seeing it from another perspective, which is you don't have control of it, but you were seeing it from the perspective of that's how we create wealth, by giving, Yeah. And I was just seeing it as true. And also we don't have control over what we receive as a result.
Yeah. And basically it's, in those steps of, I can't recall what she was called, but taking is in the lowest. Like you're like, give me.
Yeah.
That's the taking. That's the bottom. Then there's like now the giving.
Yeah.
Then there's now the receiving. So you have to go through that ladder. So most people, what we are taught is to take. Always like, hi Neha, I want us to go there. What's in it for me? What's my cut?
I think Jesus Christ said something about, and you are poverty.
Yeah.
You are in poverty and you are poverty. And when he was talking about you are poverty, he was really talking about that mindset. I call it the scarcity mindset. I mean, abundance is a very big theme in what I do as well. Like
you need
I
to
teach.
Tell us more.
Well, I teach about it, and I do workshops about abundance. But for me, it's like this world is a function of our consciousness. We're good.
Yeah.
This world is a function of our consciousness, right?
Yeah.
So wherever our consciousness is, the physical reality will be a result of that consciousness, right? So if I'm highly conscious, then the outcome of this show will be that the outcome will be a very high outcome.
Yeah.
Right? Automatically, because my energy is creating something.
Yes.
I'm not physically creating it. I'm not, right?
Yeah.
So the world is in poverty because our collective consciousness is a poverty consciousness.
Yeah.
And as you pointed it out, you see, and as you pointed out, we're being taught it. We're actually being schooled in poverty.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad?
It's very sad. Very.
And kids do not know poverty consciousness normally. They break things. They don't get upset about breaking them that much. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, it's broken. And you're like, oh, you broke your thing. Now it's finished.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The
like
10,000 worth of toys
exactly.
just crashed.
And then they're totally okay. They're like, okay, on to the next thing, whether it's a pencil or a really expensive gift. So they don't really understand that. That's not how they really operate,
Yeah.
They're always they realize abundance because something else will come into your reality. Something else will come into your reality. Something else will come into your reality. And what's coming into your reality is experience.
Yeah.
Right? New experience. You can never run out of experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think we're really focusing on our children. That's coming up a lot today, and the future and the world we're creating for them.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say that what you're doing with your own work with healing is the number one thing you can do for your kids.
Yeah.
Because when you're healed, you're not passing that down.
Yeah.
You're ending that you're ending that generational poverty or wounds with yourself. So you're not passing it on to your son.
Yeah. So healing is for the children.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. We will take a break right now.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
And we're back with Deep Talk and the lovely guest, sentient being Brima. So Brima, we've spoken a lot about the inner journey. So now I wonder, what's going on with your outer journey? What's happening in your world and your reality? What are you creating? What are you up to?
Yeah, as a rapper and as an executive producer, I'm doing a lot of music. So, as we were discussing, I mentioned Kiswahili is for the children. I was just using the phrase used by ODB of the Wu-Tang. He said Wu-Tang is for the children.
Oh, okay.
So music we're doing for like passing on something to the future generations and stuff. So Kiswahili is an album we did with Kitusua. By the way, I didn't mention I'm in a group called Maovete. You may be aware of that. So Maovete is a duo, and we've done an album.
What does Maovete mean?
Maovete is a veteran in Sheng.
Okay.
Yeah,
veterans.
Sheng, veteran.
Young veterans, huh?
Yeah. But maybe millions of years.
Yeah, true. I stand corrected.
I had to say that because it's the deep talk.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that anywhere
They
else.
wouldn't even understand what you're saying. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we did that album. It was called Kiswahili. And basically it's a 14-track project, and I've done some interludes talking about the state of the community and society, what we're going through internally also as people, and how we experience life. And
I know Kiswahili was created during COVID, during the time where there was a very early curfew.
Yes,
we were all at home.
Through all that.
Yeah.
That was for us the gift of the curfew, because
Yes.
we were given that opportunity to slow down a little and create that project. I almost said masterpiece, but
it is.
let
Maybe
people
it
say
is.
that.
No,
not
you can.
me.
You can consider. I really feel you can consider it
a
masterpiece if it is to you.
Yeah. To us, it is.
You know?
So there's that song called Kun Fire Kun. It's about be and it is, and it is pointing to the way uh, God creates the universe, or the higher being creates the universe, or even if you yourself, some people consider God is within you, so be and it is.
Do
So
you understand, like, I don't know if people understand fully how that works, but maybe I can just,
you're the teacher.
I want to
Please
just
explain.
share that, because that
Please.
is so deep, like be
Yeah.
and it is, and that is an Islamic concept, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Jesus was born like that. Be and it is. Yeah.
Was that what it says in the Bible? Is it a teaching of the Christians? No, it's
Yeah.
it's a particular phrase that is from Islam,
Kun
right?
fayakun, yes.
And like what it's talking about is be and it is. It means when you vibrate, you've created the physical world. You don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
All you need to do is be the vibration,
Yeah.
and then you create the physical reality. It's actually science. It's
Yeah.
actually deep science,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? But were you aware of that when you were
Yeah.
writing that? Is that
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you guys were referring to?
Yeah, we were actually that particular phrase. I'm the one who like suggested into it, and I knew, but the concept and the song, it was Kitusua who came up with the Nilienda far sana na mi. So he was talking about he's gone far from himself. Then I thought the best response to that is be and it is. Be what you want to be, and you will be. So so we came up with that. And the project has several songs. Also, there's that and the Lazy, which we have Roba of Kalamashaka there, and it's basically about continuation. Here in Kenya, we know hip hop started with Kalamashaka and them. So we are trying to continue that tradition, pass it on to the next guys, Kinamsito and the rest of them. So we are just passing the torch. So
I wonder, have you performed the album live?
not yet, unfortunately. We
It'll
have
happen.
to. We have
Be
to
and it is.
manifest. We have to
Be and
manifest.
it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Surely. We really hope to.
Yeah.
So-
And how do you feel Kiswahiling was received?
Yeah, I think also since the times we were all in, it was a very opportune moment for it. People received it very well. Everyone who had it, most people, they say that it was actually healing for them, and they really liked that message at that particular time. There are even songs like "You're Not Alone" that we're talking about the pandemic. There's like utakwenda wapi, we are questioning like where do you go, and so there's so many.
How did you link up with Kitusua?
Be and it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just
It was actually the energy was just, it needed to happen for so many years. I was with, the first time I met him at the studio, it was over 15 years ago, but we never got. That time I had not been. I was.
you went to Maovete?
Yeah, I wasn't Maovete yet. So all this time I've been trying to like improve my skill and working on it and nini. So finally, when we were now ready, like quote unquote ready, God made it possible because he just passed by the studio. It wasn't even effortless, completely effortless.
It just happens so effortlessly. So that is the point. I want people to know that when you vibrate, you don't need to chase. You don't need to struggle. It just comes to you in a very effortless way. Yeah. And then the creating is all joy and fun and energy, right? It wasn't tiring or draining.
No.
You like, did you consider it like work, like hard?
Okay, it took work. We had to really work hard.
Of course, that is
but
effort. But did you find it hard? Like, did you want to do it?
Yeah, we really wanted.
You weren't like, oh, I have to go to the office.
No,
Exactly.
not at all.
So that's the point. Like, work is not hard. Work can be.
It was inspired. Yeah.
Inspired. It was inspired for sure. I mean, I heard the album a long time ago when you first released it, actually, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that song for me is like one of my favorite songs, Kun Faya Kun.
Yeah, I think you're among the first people
to hear that.
I played the entire
thing
piece
for
even.
exactly.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So okay. So what else is going on with you?
So apart from that, I also did my solo album. It was called Happy Hour Buffet. That's me. I had done it also during the same period or slightly earlier before COVID, and before meeting Kitusua, I was on the way to release it. But then when I met Kitusua
you
and
just
we
focused
formed
on that.
Maovete and all, I took a pause on it. So we worked on Kiswahili.
So Maovete is with Kitusua? No, it's
he gave us the name.
name,
The name.
okay.
So it's me and Gitonga Mukira.
Gitonga, okay.
But when we met Kitusua is when we formed it. We
it.
knew each other. We were working together, but we didn't.
But you hadn't formed
a
it.
group. We were
Okay.
just working side by side.
So you were baptized by Kitusua.
Yeah, blessing. So before that, I also have my own album. It's called Happy Hour Buffet. Again, it's about happiness, about raising my vibration to happiness and healing. It was still the same kind of thing, same effort, just a different kind of
Expression.
Expression of it. Yeah, and let me just mention that it's good you mentioned expression, because this I learned just yesterday or day before. Someone was saying, what's the opposite of depression? And it's obvious, but people don't think about it. It's expression. So I'll just say it because you said it. So all this, I'm trying to overcome certain kind of depressing things. So you're trying to express, and you're trying to make Happy Hour Buffet. You're trying to make Kiswahili. I don't know what next will be, but you get the idea. So that project also is out there. I'm trying to push it. Maybe I'll do some videos for it and things like that. But currently not yet thought about what I'll do. I'd planned a video or two, but I haven't got to it. And there's now also, if you notice, Kiswahili, I'll keep referring to Kiswahili because it changed a lot of things in my life. So Kiswahili, again, at the end of it, there is the interlude. I talk about the solution to all this togetherness. Too, like being together is what can help us uplift ourselves. So by virtue of saying that, it gave birth to a certain energy and a certain vibe we tried to do with Maono Music, a project called Togetherness. So that's another album yet it hasn't been released
yet. It's with multiple artists?
Yeah. We have
all from Dandora?
Not all, but
mostly
several. Quite a number of them. We worked together, we did that. And then there's also other artists from all over the place. Someone is from Gong, another one from Kilimani, another one, like everywhere basically. Just togetherness, in the sense that the idea also is to think beyond Dandora, think beyond Eastlands, think even beyond Kenya, if possible. That also leads to Donoka Cypher, which we are now doing as East Africa. That is, I was on episode 1. We are now on episode 2.
So that's like a podcast, or it's like a...
No.
It's like a show?
Yeah, Donoka Cypher is a cypher that it's music, basically.
So it's audio?
Yeah, we do video.
Oh, you do video? Okay.
I shoot and edit video as well. The people who are abroad, they send their clips. I put them together. And we are working as... there's the producers from 64 Hip Hop in Eldoret, the organizers. There's Music Jared from Kisii. There's Kefam Kombola from Tanzania. There's Pimani Records headed by Peter Wafuru, who's based in UK, and now myself. So you see that diversity. It's even beyond, like it's international in a way. So, and the artists, the lineup we bring is always like representation from all these countries and different, basically representing East Africa, but people in the diaspora
as well. Yeah,
so we try to extend that togetherness. You see how it's just growing. It's like, so I'm just trying to raise that vibe, and that's where I'm at right now. The Togetherness project, probably will release it in 2 months or so. We're just finalizing the lineup of the album. We've shot like 4 videos yet to be released. We need 2 more, and it will be out. Then the Donoka Cypher is every 2 months we release. So the one for the right now it's all femcs, female rappers from Nakuru. There's Veril. There's one from Gong, Shazi B. There's one from Tanzania, Teddy Boom Bap Queen. There's one from Kisi as well, and
So what's the idea behind the ciphers?
The idea is that togetherness.
So it's like an extension of togetherness. The album
for me, the way I experience. For other people,
which brings us back to your theme.
Yeah.
Of community.
Yeah,
that's so important in your life. Yeah,
that's
right?
my values. You see, that portrays very well. Like even it explains itself. Yeah.
Okay, so there's quite a lot going on. It's all very much about peace, love, community.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we'll take a break and we'll be right back where you have a few questions for me. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So stay tuned. Bye.
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
And we're back with the Deep Talk. We have Brima, sentient being. I'm going to say that as much as possible every time I introduce you. So Brima, what's up? What was on your mind?
I think first we can start with how you introduce yourself, because I know you're also a sentient being. But just how do you introduce yourself? I know a lot of what you do, the kind of work you do, the healing work, the philosophy, and just how do you describe yourself? Who do I tell people Neha is?
Oh man, that's difficult. Neha is, I would say, definitely healer, teacher, those two.
Oh, okay.
But then if you go on to the deeper level, like the spiritual level, I would say I'm an intuit and a channeler.
Wow.
You know?
That's nice.
And that leads me into like speaking and I think what I'm really a lot about is wisdom. Yeah. Hence the show.
Knowledge, wisdom, understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So another question I would want to explain, maybe how would you explain to a teenager what philosophy is?
Okay. Philosophy is basically wisdom and how to apply it in the world, how to use it in your life and how to use it in the world. And I guess to a teenager, I would have to explain what wisdom is. Wisdom is truth that has power within it.
Wow.
Yeah, like secrets of the universe.
And
I would tell this teenager that all those secrets are within you.
All right.
So philosophy is really about helping you to access that.
So philosophy, if I am not wrong, is a combination of spirituality and philosophy.
Spiritual, political, philosophy.
All right. So when you talk of political, I would have a question regarding that as well.
Yeah.
Like we talk of modern political systems, democracy is seen as the ultimate. And what would you change in the current the way countries approach democracy and politics?
So I have actually written about this, and I have, because I've worked in that world, and I have really thought deeply about it. And for me, I would really promote bottom-up governance. I wouldn't necessarily say democracy is the answer. Democracy is like basically the system of one man, one vote. I don't necessarily think that's the best way. I think that's one way. And I think there are many other ways of governing. If you look at families, like a lot of families, they don't use the voting system.
Yes.
In decision making, right? And we have examples of families that do well and families that don't do as well. And I think depending on the family, there's a different system used. You know? So in the same way, I think, you know, if you look at a lot of traditional African communities, they use consensus, which is far more powerful than, and even you see consensus happening in politics today. Like you will see that there's a kitchen consensus, like there's an agreement amongst those who matter about who's coming next. And then all the machinery, that they have at their disposal, they use to make that happen. That's consensus. You know, that creates a lot of stability. The issue becomes when you have consensus amongst fools. Do you know what I'm saying? But the same thing is in democracy is where foolish people vote. You know what I'm saying? So the point is really not about the system for me.
Not foolish people, but fooled. They get fooled.
They can
into
be
voting.
fools, and they can be fooled, and they can also be fools. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying there's that possibility.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and how do you create fools? Society is creating fools or is creating wise people.
Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you mean.
Families are creating wise people or they are creating fools. You know? So the real question for me has always been, okay, multiple systems, there's consensus systems. I really believe in bottom-up governance because bottom-up governance is really about, you know, you're invested in your problems. Therefore, your solutions are going to be much more real and appropriate and work. And you'll have more interest in the garbage collection in your neighborhood than you do in the garbage collection of the whole of Kenya.
Yeah.
And by the way, the garbage collection in your neighborhood may have different things about it and therefore different needs than the garbage collection in Eldoret. You know, so I really do believe in that bottom-up localized governance. And I don't believe in states. I don't think having the nation state, which is a false term because Kenya is not a nation. Most of these African states are not nations. They are multi-nation states. There are many nations within Kenya. And those nations are not getting recognition as that they are nations.
Oh.
You know, the Luo nation, these are nations, these are languages, these are people, these are territories. You know what I'm saying? If you really looked at the map of Africa, that is the nations, it's very different than the states. In fact, it crosses all those boundaries, right? So I don't also believe that the state is the best solution. I believe that we've been imposed in Africa false systems of governance that have been used by oppressors and continue to be used by oppressors.
Yeah, that also would bring the subject of religion. I know people are skeptical about religion being brought, whether it's Christianity,
the Arab, Islam.
Yeah, they always associate it with slave trade and all this colonization. And so I don't know. First of all, I would ask you, what's the difference between spirituality and religion? And then maybe you also highlight about this kind of religion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you look at the words, and it's the first thing I teach in my yoga teacher training, actually. If you break down religion comes from the word it's a Latin word.
Yeah.
It comes from re, which is to do again, and ligia, I can't pronounce it, whatever, but it means unification. Okay? If you look at the word yoga means to yoke, to bind together. Religion just means reunification. It really is about reunification with the truth, with the soul, with love, with peace. It really is about reconnecting with source. That's the root of religion. Now, what happened was many religions were used politically, okay? And also many religious texts have been translated and translated within a certain context and by a certain mind.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, spirituality is that connection. Okay? Spirituality is basically about that connection with source. And religion is basically the bodies of knowledge and the institutions that were created out of those realms out of spirituality. But over time, some of those have been corrupted, papered over, changed, twisted but I also truly believe that if you really come with a clear mind and a desire for truth, you'll find the wisdom within them as well. You know, so I don't have any issue with religion either. Because for me, it's really about how do you use it? How do you see it? How deep do you go into it? You know?
Yeah, I think when you mention about it being about reuniting in the original language, if you think of unity, and when you think of the concept of duality and non-duality, maybe you can talk about that a little, like unification at a deeper level, like when you see beyond duality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are like duality is the world, the way the world is configured. The world is configured in opposites, black and white, dark and light, tall and short,
Yeah.
all of that stuff, right? But actually the nature behind that duality is one. It is one energy expressed in opposites, in duality, you know, in time and space, in body and mind. But the source of that is one. If you look at my hand and you put your hand up, if you put your hand up,
Yeah.
my hand is made up of vibrating atoms.
Yes.
So is yours, right?
Yes.
But so is the air.
Wow.
There's no difference. That's the oneness, which we don't perceive normally. But if we get back to source, we'll basically be able to see everything is just one. And we'll know and we'll experience that. So, on that note of oneness, Brima,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure. Those questions, I mean, I feel like maybe you should be doing the show, you know?
I'll be glad if you can call me again.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on the show again. It's been such a pleasure. Is there any last thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to drop right here?
It's still a question maybe the viewers can explore at home. They need to find out the difference, or find out what is awakening and enlightenment. That would be just
Okay,
my
you leave
parting
that right there. You can
Yeah.
just Google that and
Yes.
see what comes up for you.
Yeah.
Brima, a pleasure, a real pleasure. Thank you so much for coming today. It's just been so light and flowing. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it too.
All right, bye everyone. We'll see you next time on Deep Talk.